What's up? Welcome to the Virzi Triplets show. Today we have a very special guest, a friend before her fame.
Yes.
Alyssa Ljubicich.
I knew that was
I should have known that was coming.
Absolutely coming. Alyssa, thank you so much.
Alyssa Ljubicich. Let's get the
Yes.
name
Oh,
out
thank
there. Clearly.
Thanks, Mitchell.
Yes.
That's not what we have called
No, that's
her.
what you
Just
don't
you.
call me that.
No, he
Just
calls you that too.
Yeah, but anything Sean does is a reflection of what everyone else is doing in the room.
it's true.
Few individual thoughts for Sean, so I think
Yes.
you know.
You're spot on with that.
I agree
know,
with
I
Alyssa. I
am.
have few individual thoughts. No, but I will say your last name, and I've joked with you about it before. Your last name is like if people randomly pull.
It's a keyboard
Scrabble,
smash.
Scrabble things, keyboard smash. It's a Wi-Fi password.
If you open
It's a
up
Wi-Fi password.
if you open
Literally.
up a can of apples or alphabet soup and just dump it in there, that's
You know, it's like a relatively common last name in Croatia, which is what it is. Croatia.
Oh.
Yeah.
is it?
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
I would like to see the other common last names in Croatia as well because they must be wild.
It's like J's and Q's and L's are all shoved
I think
together.
it's cute. It's that like the ICICH part or ICIC part is like very Croatian apparently.
Yeah, I believe
The
that.
Or, like
itch.
Slavic, I guess.
Slavic.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic is another one.
See?
That, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's that whole like whatever.
But you're primarily Italian, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally the one like chunk, the one like sliver of her family that's Croatian got the last name.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it's my grandpa's side, so it was just grandpa to dad to me.
Yeah.
Big Tony.
Yeah, which about big fan of that. Your dad. Your dad's dope.
Oh,
Me
he's
and him.
gonna blush when he
Hey,
hears
Big
this.
T, what's up, dude? To the T unit.
Oh my god.
Do we still message? Yes, we do. He added me on my individual Instagram, and we've been messaging back and forth. He was very sad about our floor's lava.
Was he? I
Yeah,
haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
I've been here this weekend, so I haven't seen it yet.
yeah. Well,
Can't wait to see.
if you have it, if you get Wi-Fi on the plane.
Oh, actually, maybe I'll download the episode for the play.
That's
Yeah,
a
there
good.
you go.
That's a good call.
They named the episode after us, which is really cool.
They did. What did they call it?
Return of the Virzi Triplets.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Return and still fall.
We don't.
haven't
You
seen
have
it
to
yet.
watch.
I don't
you
want
have
to
to
spoil
spoil anything for you.
Well, I feel like I could guess.
It's a lucky guess if you did.
Yeah, I would be very lucky. Let's just say you're not the only loser on Netflix, okay? You joined the club.
It's an honor to be a loser on Netflix.
Yeah,
True.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I didn't
Take
mention
it.
Alyssa is from the circle, obviously. If you don't know that by now, that's,
Yes.
Obviously.
I didn't mention it in the intro.
You couldn't tell by her blue check mark and the influx of followers, and
We knew her before the check mark.
that's true. Which, by the way,
Mitch has literally only known me in times of extreme stress.
yes,
Like he has not known me during a moment of peace. This is like the most peace I've had
and
in
it's
like
not
2
even
years.
it's not even peaceful. It's
No,
it might be it's a different level of chaos.
At least it's happy chaos and it's not
good chaos.
terrible chaos.
Yes. So for those that don't know, I will explain how we met
Sure.
Alyssa.
Yes.
So first, we worked. I knew Holly Allen from
Yeah.
Big Brother. If anybody doesn't know, I worked with her for a year before she got on Big Brother, and then
You guys are good luck for all the people around you.
I was gonna say
Truly.
if I'm around a woman for about a year,
Yeah.
they will get on. They will get on the show, guaranteed. We are.
It's character building to be around you guys.
It's trial by fire.
So,
Some
yeah.
would say.
It's training to be a mom or some kind of very like it toughens your skin up where you have to deal with immaturity for a long time.
Yes, exactly.
I would say we're the career good luck Chucks.
Yeah, I would say so.
Really?
Yeah.
Whose career have you made?
I didn't say me. You apparently. Sure.
Yeah, I got the magic touch. Okay.
I just we speak as a unit.
No individual thoughts and individual praise either. It's all collective here. No, so Holly, I knew for a little bit. Hadn't seen her in a year. Okay, so pandemic hits. It's like June 2020. We had just gotten hair transplants.
Oh, yeah.
And we had just aired on Floor's Lava. So I have a bloody head. For anybody who's never seen the hair transplant video, go on our YouTube page.
Like a scabby blood.
It's like 3,000 little scabs on our head. I am also watching a dog, Nicole Kalunga's dog, who's in a lot of our videos. I am out taking this dog for a shit. I have picked up the shit in a bag. I am holding the bag. A random car just swerves by and pulls right in front of me. It's Holly Allen. And she's like, "Hey, Mitch, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, haven't seen you in a year. What's up?" She's like, yeah, I'm looking for a new apartment. Me and my boyfriend just broke up. So, if whatever. She had a little gossip on that end as well.
Shout out to Jackson.
Yeah.
No,
No,
never shout out that person ever.
I don't know.
No shout
I
out.
don't know anything about their situation. But anyways.
It's my friend's ex. We
yes,
don't we
yes.
don't shout out exes on here.
No, we don't. We just
Ooh,
have we
Jackson.
just have them on here.
Well,
No.
don't say that. I feel like he'll come find us. You're fine.
Yeah, I don't know you, dude. I don't,
So-
doesn't
so-
matter to me.
So Holly pulls up. I'm holding a bag of dog shit. I have a scabby head. In the back seat is Alyssa, who just moved out here in March 2020, right when the pandemic hit.
March 1st.
March
Perfect
1st.
timing.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right when it
Perfect
happened. And then, we talked for a little bit. I'm holding the bag of dog shit, and then you guys end up leaving, and then I'm like, yo, Holly, what's up with your friend? And then we dated for a bit. Our first date, I had a bloody head. I had to wear a hat the whole time.
Yeah.
Which, pretty sweet.
I mean, it just shows you that Alyssa really doesn't care about looks.
I was
know
like,
what?
oh my God, does he have a speech impediment? Oh my God.
He does.
Yes, that is very noticeable.
You watered the plants trying to say your last name.
No, Alyssa.
Oh my God.
Alyssa has said a couple times, and I don't think she realizes that it's very backhanded. She's like,
What?
"Yeah, looks are not the first. I don't care about looks." And I'm
I
like,
mean, that's true, but that doesn't mean that I'm not attracted to the people that I date.
"Excuse me, I'm right here." And then
Both things can be true.
that's true. Both things can be true. And then
I will say I do care about looks. Whoever.
We know, Alex. We know.
That's
Everybody.
You also take girls for ice cream and then split the bill.
Well,
so
no,
that's a
I
whole
never
other
split the
thing.
bill on that. We'll get in that later.
We'll get
I
into
split
that.
the bill.
long
Don't
story
split the
short, we dated on and off. Always remained friends. And then June. I don't know when your process started for a thing.
I want to say it was probably around June.
Yeah, June or July, like a year later, you get swooped up for the circle, and then we end up watching your dogs. Well, then Bonnie ended up, staying with Jasmine.
Yeah.
And I raised Astro to be my
You
child.
literally had him for 2 months, and the only way that you raised him is now he's scared of men. So
That's not true.
yes, it
loves
is
us.
true. Yes, it
He
is
loves
true.
us. He's my background on my.
I do love
I have
background.
I have a cute picture to show you guys later. I'll send
can't
it
wait
to
to
you.
see
I will say, if the fear is any part of it, it's probably me. I'll be honest.
It's because you guys shoved his head into shit, even though I explicitly told you not to do that.
I did that.
I know.
and
even though
I think it was good.
explicitly told you not to
he-
do it.
Does he shit in the house?
Yes, and he also is scared of men.
Well,
Well, he doesn't have a lot of dudes in that house either. It's just Tony.
Yes, I know, but
Big T-dog.
why would he be scared of men and not women?
I don't know. Well,
I do.
you've coddled him.
he's around female
I do.
dogs. A lot of female, a lot of
Influence.
estrogen in the household.
No,
Well,
it's your fault.
Anyways, long story
Anyway.
short, we end up watching the dog while you're in the circle. The circle thing
Yes.
ends up going longer than expected, and now we're here.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Here
But
we
I think it was
are.
funny because
all,
like a lot
all
of.
Netflix personalities.
But yeah, I think of all the
Some
people,
bigger than others.
Well,
I just
might
don't think
say.
anybody would ever assume you and us were friends in
I
like
know,
any
before,
realm.
before it all.
Yes, but it was
Yeah.
before it all.
Yeah.
And now you're here.
Yeah, now I'm here.
Congrats.
Now you have like a whole set. This is beautiful.
What can we say? We
Money buys nice things.
I've heard.
It helps us buy stuff.
But how has it been?
This is the first real talk we've all had
Yeah,
since
that's
you've
true.
actually
Yeah.
blown up.
Yeah.
We've all been kind of around each other, but we saw you at the rap party.
Yeah.
occasional FaceTimes every now and then.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, and it's funny because it's only been the show came out on the 4th, May 4th.
Yeah.
And so it's been only a month that all
Yeah.
of this has happened. Literally a month ago.
Yeah.
This was nothing. This was nothing. I was
well,
nothing
you
had
knew it was
changed,
you knew it
really.
was brewing.
Yeah, but you don't know how it feels until it's actually happening.
Yeah.
I'm relatively lucky and not lucky, but I don't really get stopped that much when I'm outside. But when it does happen, it's still so weird to me. One
Yeah.
time, John gets stopped a lot, who's also from my season, and I think it's because he has the long hair, so he's more recognizable than me.
Yeah.
But I also think that I kind of look like a bitch in public. I think living in New York City,
And
really,
in private.
and in what?
and in private.
No.
Whatever, Sean.
Well, I feel like
But I think when you're in New York City for long enough, you end up developing a resting bitch face as
Yeah.
a defense mechanism. So I don't think I look that approachable. But when I was out with John once, there was a girl came up to us, a woman who came up to us, and she was like, "Oh my God, I was just watching your season on my lunch break," and she was like, "I've never met a celebrity in real life before," and I was like, "You still haven't, but it's so nice to meet you.
hey, we'll take it.
So nice to meet you."
I was gonna say, have you had a exact moment where you're where it's actually hit you, where you're oh, this is my whole life is different now?
That day we went to the Museum of Sex because I was invited there, which is like crazy because I love that museum. I had said before, like it's my party trick. Like, I love it.
We're big proponents of sex on this pod. We all like sex here.
That's crazy. You should have it more probably. then.
I try. I try.
I know you do. It's not for a lack of trying. I get that.
Maybe you're trying too hard. Maybe
Well, you are 30 now. You got to try a little harder.
Oh, the big three. Oh, you guys.
Oh, yes.
You got invited to the museum.
Got me invited to the museum, and we got stopped so much that whole trip. Like outside, we were like 20 minutes late for our like time to go in, and I think it was the two of us together. And like I said, he gets stopped a lot. So like that was bizarre and really strange.
Yeah.
And like even in the museum, there were employees coming up to us, and they were like, "Oh my god!" And I had mentioned the Museum of Sex on the show, so it makes sense that the employees probably also heard that. But there was one person. He went on the mechanical bull, and you've been.
Yes, I've been.
And you can turn the vibrator function on in there.
Oh, I didn't know it had a vibrator.
They ask you. I don't know if they asked you, but they asked.
No, because I didn't go
John.
on.
Oh, okay, so he went on it, and they asked him if he wanted to put the vibrator function on. And he was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So he's on a vibrating mechanical bull, and this woman is talking to him, and I'm taking a video, and she's like, "You sound like that guy from that show," and he's like, "I am that guy from that show," and she just keeps going like, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" Yeah. And at this point, I'm like, we also, like, we've established it. And she just didn't believe us. And I was like, why would I lie about that?
Yeah, it'd be a very weird flex.
It's such a strange thing. I would go bigger if I were going to lie.
Yeah, I was
They
going to say.
they turn that bull into a Sibian real quick.
A who?
A Sibian is a
What is that?
Alex watches a lot of
vibrating
porn.
sex toy.
Oh.
It's literally like a
that's what that was
straddle.
called.
No, I wonder
I
why.
know
I
what it
wonder
is, yeah.
why you're not having sex. I wonder. I really can't
Sounds like you-
comprehend.
That's not a that's a very common reference. It's not that crazy.
I didn't know that's what that was
Sure.
called. It sounds
Yeah,
like
if
you
the
watch a lot of
sex,
porn.
if the sex
I
coach
have.
doesn't know what it is, then yeah, maybe it's
Well,
not. It's
I
kind
know
of-
what it is. I just didn't know that's what it was called.
We're both peers in that sense.
We are not.
We're sexual educators.
I
Hers
would-
is through
I-
certification, mine is through practice. So.
I would like to confirm that there is literally no way in hell that Mitchell, yes. Alex Virzi can teach anyone about.
he can teach the disappointment.
Yeah, I teach.
That he can
I
teach.
teach disappointment. I
Yes.
teach how to handle microbiology.
It's
in my
mainly
penis.
mainly teaching coping.
You
Is
stepped on
that
my joke.
Help.
You stepped on my joke.
they heard your joke. You had
Help.
a micro penis.
That was yes.
This is a
great
crime.
joke.
I did not. I did not believe all this stuff because like I've known about you getting on for the whole time, and I don't think it hit me until the rap party that we went to
Yeah.
this weekend. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's different.
It's so weird. And like I brought my best friend with me, and she and I we've been
Shout out.
friends. Yeah, Rebecca
She's in there.
sitting over
in the
there.
room.
And so she and I have been friends since we were babies. Like we grew up next door to each other, and so like it's been really surreal to like marry the two worlds and like look over and she's there, and I'm like, oh my god, like it felt more like, oh, this is my life actually. Having like my person who's like my grounded friend that I've had for forever.
There was a moment at the party where me and Rebecca were like, this is very surreal. I'm like,
Yeah.
yep,
Yes.
it's weird.
We went out on Saturday night and we were trying to get into this. We were trying to go to a strip club, but we couldn't figure out if they could sell alcohol in there because it was like fully nude in there. So we're outside and we're trying to figure it out. It was a really long night. We were outside trying to figure it out, and this little tiny girl sprints up to me. We were with Trevor, who also did the show. Sprints up to Trevor, mauls him, and then realized that I'm with him, mauls me, and she's so excited. She's like, I'm so excited. I love your show, whatever. And then we realized later that she's a stripper in the club, and I was like, this is everything I've ever wanted.
hilarious.
This is everything I've ever wanted. It was great.
Did she give you a free lap dance or?
No, we ended up not going in because we thought we were going to drink more, and then we ended up leaving and trying to get McDonald's. It was a whole long night, but
Well, I'm curious because you're probably the closest person we know that's actually like legit had a real blow up in social media. So I'm very curious about the DMs.
okay.
Obviously, I'm interested in the weirdest DM because our show is not as viral as you will say, but we get some wild DMs that I love. You have probably gotten some ridiculous ones.
You know what? My DMs are not that crazy, and I think part of it is because I've like established myself as a professional in the sex space, so people don't feel like I get a lot less of like what you would think would be like a creepy message.
Yeah.
And I think it's partially because this is my thought process. If I'm in like the sex ed or sex health space, the likelihood of you saying something that's going to shock me is like, the bar is like way, way higher.
Yeah.
And so, like, maybe it could be that I'm desensitized and I'm getting these messages and they're not even registering to me as being weird.
They're just words in the void at that point.
Yeah.
The stuff you read is like, you can't take any of it seriously.
No. And like, most of the messages I get are honestly really nice. Like, I rarely get
good.
mean ones.
Yeah.
And like, it's a lot of the times it's like girls, and they're half of them are asking me if I want to go on a date with them, and then the other half of them are like, asking me questions. Like, they really want to learn, and that's been so cool. Like, I'm so happy that people are like receiving it in that way. What are you doing? Am I boring you?
No. I was pulling up a DM I got yesterday. That
okay.
was funny.
Oh, real quick, I was gonna say I was surprised that your audience is like still almost all women.
Yes, it's
Like,
like
it's like
70%.
It's like way.
Damn.
Because you would.
Kelsey, can you hear me?
That's great. You
You would think that
start selling some makeup or something.
she's working. She's working on some brand deals. But I was like surprised at that, and I'm like, oh, okay. The people that are following you not because
They like you.
Oh, this girl's doing thirst traps all the time. It's like, no, you're just like.
But
they're
I also
genuinely
don't
interested.
post thirst traps. Like, I'm not really out. Like, I do occasionally, but I'm not out here. I think part of the reason why my audience is the way it is and my DMs are the way that they are is because if I'm posting anything that's like sex related, I'm like, here's what your vulva looks like, and this is how it works, and everyone's like, boring.
Yeah, I guess the girl posting the vulva pillow on the circle is probably not posting.
Right? They're
A
like,
lot of people are following her.
they're
They're
like, this girl doesn't want to see my dick.
Yeah.
But actually, that's probably like one of the only kinds of DMs that I've gotten that like I was like, oh Jesus Christ, I have gotten like videos of people jerking off.
But
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, and then I immediately block them.
But that also could be a girl that has not been on a show either. Like girls get that in general.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I don't get that many of them though.
I was gonna say, is anybody, whatever? Oh, you're a sex coach. Can you get your professional
please.
opinion on my dick, please?
That sounds exactly like
I
what
learn better from practice.
Yes.
I can't. Those messages drive me up a wall. Like anytime I do like a question box, it's always like, "Oh, you're a sex coach. I learned from experience. Do you need someone to practice with? How do you teach?"
That's Alex.
Ugh.
I play the role of the common man.
Ugh. It gives me such an ick. Like
So-
you could at least put like slightly more effort into that.
Yeah.
Boring.
Well, then, since you haven't gotten wild DMs, now my question is, what's the coolest DM you've gotten? Who's the coolest person that has DM'd you? If you don't mind spilling a little.
Okay, there's like a few different. It depends on what you mean by cool. I get randomly not a lot, but I've gotten a handful of professional athletes.
Well, that's what I'm curious.
That's what I expect.
That's what we care about. That's what I don't.
I don't want you to put any good soldier on blast. Keep those anonymous, okay?
Well, no. If it's I'm interested.
It was no one that like I'm not a big sports person, so like it doesn't mean much. It's no one that I like recognize, but after I look at their profile, I'm like, oh shit, like you actually
Are a
play
sports
football.
player.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay,
like
so it's a football
handful of professional football players specifically.
What position? Just so we have a.
I don't remember.
Maybe something off the podcast.
Off
the podcast.
And so that's one. And then because I'm in the sex ed space, I get like porn stars who DM me, which is I want every porn star to DM me because I love it. It's great. Like I think it's cool to talk to people who are like who understand so much of the industry. I'm actually doing an interview with a handful of them, people who are cam girls, porn stars, either retired or active, and that's really cool. Like I did the Mary Carey podcast, and she's like an iconic, legendary porn star, and like that was so cool. And
that I feel like they're like it's interesting now because it seems like a lot of porn stars have almost like pivoted into like content, like just regular content.
Yeah,
Make
totally.
like videos
Mary
about
Carey also
like.
ran for governor of California twice.
Did she?
An icon,
Hilarious.
a fucking icon. And then the other one,
Right there with
big one
Arnold.
for me. Yes, a big one for me was there's a girl named Mikey who does makeup on YouTube, and like I've watched her since like middle school, like this, and she followed me on Instagram like in sort of the beginning of everything, so I still like was able to see like if someone verified followed me like that, and I was like. No way. And I was just like, I felt the blood drain from my body, and I was like, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God. And I was so excited. Her boyfriend is Anthony Padilla. Like they were there at the rap party.
Yeah.
I was like, I could not do you guys not know who Anthony
I don't know
Padilla
who
is?
that is.
Smosh?
We were told
They're
that,
like
and I didn't know who they were.
YouTube legends.
Smosh?
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't
like,
know YouTubers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And like
Girls that are in the.
They're like one of the
I
originals.
don't want to say the audience, just friends that are here
so
know who that is.
So Anthony Padilla and Smosh, like they started those big YouTube channels. Like they have like now Smosh has like thousands of employees. and
they're massive.
They're massive.
I'll
Like
have to
they
look it up.
create content on like a huge. Like he's really like in terms of YouTube, like he is like the Godfather legendary status of YouTube, and to like be there, I was like seeing Mikey was one thing because we like text. And I love her.
Wow.
And she's so sweet. And like that
Humble
was
brag.
like surreal and just like she's so talented. It was just really cool. And then like seeing him also come with her, like I was like, this is so wild. Like he just is such the both of them are like such a big part of my like internet journey that like being friends with them is like wild. Well, I'm not really friends with Anthony. I don't want to like, but Mikey, I love her.
Well, it's still surreal. Like again, Rebecca and I were talking about this. It's like very surreal because you like see these people.
Yeah.
Like when I first watched your season, I was just like, oh yeah, there's Alyssa. Like it didn't
Right.
hit me, and then I'm like, oh, and you see all these other people around, and it's like, and then like those people who you don't know, but that you know they're gigantic.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's when it like starts
Yeah.
kicking in.
It's weird seeing your face every time I open up Netflix. They made your face the thumbnail, which is super cool.
It's honestly, it is really cool, and it's been really nice because I know that there are people who are so pissed that I'm there. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's my favorite part is just to think of the people who like really, for whatever reason, don't fuck with me, and they open up the Netflix app, and there I am.
Yeah.
I've gotten like texts, which I need to show you later,
Yeah,
from
I-
exes.
Oh.
One in particular.
That one.
Yeah, that that like has repeatedly texted me to be like, that's so crazy. And I'm like, so I just want to confirm, you are the person who called me a cunt to my face. Oh, got it. So I don't know if you can put
Well, I'm
that
glad
on
you're getting your
podcast.
messages. I'm glad you're getting my. No,
No, you can put that.
Yeah,
That's
you're
fine.
good.
We don't care.
But yeah,
No.
so like, yeah, it's like that kind of a thing is really gratifying.
But also, we knew that was coming.
Yeah,
I mean,
we did. We were kind of waiting for that.
Yeah.
We were waiting for that. Anyway,
Well, I mean, it's been really it's been crazy to watch like the
Yeah.
whole thing because like even now like we'll still FaceTime in the morning. I'm like. It's like nothing changed, and
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, if you go on like Instagram, it's like, oh no, everything has changed, everything's different.
but yes and no, because like I still like I live at my parents' house right now.
I think it's the
You know?
funniest thing. Where it's like all this stuff's going on, crazy Hollywood party, and it's like,
I live
yeah,
at my parents' house. And I still have like a day job that's
Yes.
not related
Shout
to
out to
any of
T Unit
this.
again.
Yes.
and bad gal Riri.
Oh yeah. So back gallery. Rebecca's.
Well, Dua Lipa still lives with her parents.
Yeah, but Dua Lipa's so rich.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I'm not. You're not close, but I'm saying like Dua Lipa still lives with her parents.
Yeah, but
when she
if-
moved,
she's
when
on
she
the-
moved to London.
I
on
would
the
live
road
with
all
my
the time.
parents too if they lived in like a $60 million house somewhere and had several of them.
I don't know.
And
I
she's
don't
on the
know.
road all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, she comes from money.
I was trying to make her
Dua
feel
Lipa, yeah.
better about living with mommy and daddy, but
No.
Well,
there's
you
Well,
have
she
your
was.
plan.
She had
You-
also.
Yeah.
Like she had also was in between the process of where it's like,
No, I
I
get
it,
I
I
don't
get
know
it.
what's gonna happen.
ultimately like it's I don't like living like it's not my parents are wonderful. They're
Yeah, they
it's
are.
it's just that like
Shout out to no.
please. But like, I lived by myself for a really long time, and then like living with your parents is so different. But I have 2 dogs, and like going, like I would imagine that I'll be in LA quite a bit over like the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And like having them to be able to help me is really convenient and nice.
yeah.
Well,
Shout
yeah, I
out
think-
to Bonnie and Astro, by the way. That's the
The
pups.
shout outs today are just
I say it's like almost impossible to go from living on your own to
Yeah.
like going back to your parents. Like it's such a weird
Oh,
adjustment.
I couldn't imagine living with mom and dad again. Mainly because
No.
they're divorced. But
right.
Facts are facts.
I've said since like the minute that I met you guys, I've said that you all need to go to therapy. All of you.
I actually don't think we do. I think
You do.
This
I
is a good plug. Better Health. If you guys want, BetterHealth.com is our newest sponsor. on the
slash
podcast.
triplets.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also think because Alex thinks we don't need to go, that
Yeah.
I don't need to go.
That
Hold on, wait.
makes sense.
Who needs therapy the most out of the 3 of us?
Sean?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
absolutely.
Not because I think you are like the scariest. Like I think that if like of the 3 of you, like if someone was gonna wear someone else's skin as a suit, it would be you.
I would agree with that as well.
You're the most prone to having like a mental breakdown that could be psychotic.
I feel like
You-
that's
Psychotic.
probably
Mitchell has
necessary.
mental breakdowns,
Hold
but
on.
he is like anxious.
Because
Yeah,
mine are creative and for
Yeah.
a reason.
yeah, no.
And
we
my
get it.
anxiety has always been right. Always.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No, you know what that's called? That's called manifesting, and you
That's
do
true.
it in the opposite direction.
I've said
That's
it.
true.
I've said
What?
that
It's
to
true.
him.
You are so focused on whenever anything, but all three of you are guilty of this, but I think
yeah.
he's the worst. When something good is coming your way, you're like, I'm not going to get excited about it. I'm not going to get excited about it. And then you literally will it out of your life.
In fairness, you had a little different path than we did.
Of course.
You kinda got,
Of
You got
course.
the golden ticket. And then even when we had a possible golden ticket, they snatched it away from us.
Potentially could have been my fault.
No, I
No,
don't.
you had
think
nothing
it
to do.
was.
with
No.
it. But
not.
the last time we talked about this on a couple episodes ago. We were Alex was saying how he doesn't feel emotions.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at what
that's-
it's called. Alexithemia.
That's pretty
I
funny.
swear to God.
So wild.
Yes.
I
was
said my
hilarious.
emotions are muted because I do think I do feel emotions. The ones I feel are usually.
I do
from-
think that I do feel emotions. I do think that I feel them. I am
if
Alex. I feel horny. I feel.
If a TV is muted, can you hear anything?
you can see it.
You can still convey messages. Like, come on, like that's what I do. I convey messages
but
with
I
my
think-
dick.
You guys all need therapy for different reasons.
I think-
you would love it. Like, I think you would be in it, and you and your therapist would be like besties. Like, I text my therapist all the time. Shout out Christine. And I think that you would love it. Genuinely, I think you would go and fucking hate it, but you would go if someone forced you, and then like over time, it would take so long.
I don't
like,
think
figure
you would
out
see
your
the
shit.
benefits of it. I think society would see the benefits.
Yeah, right, exactly. You'll end up in therapy because you were assigned.
Yes.
I don't think we need it. I think we operate in our own little hovel, if you will,
I know you do.
and that's
Not good.
That's just the system we're in. But we're
That's
not
not good.
Yeah. Once we get to the
Denial.
Yes, that's literally what it is.
There's no
You've
denial.
created a
I'm not saying-
community of people who are similar to you, and then you just live in that, and you're like, no, this is fine.
Well, our mom did that.
I would vouch with Alyssa. Because Alyssa's been the receiver of a couple of my.
Anxiety attacks.
Yeah, I mean that.
Also,
You don't really have anxiety attacks. You just like have normal panic like other people.
Yes.
used to.
But you panic about things that you don't need to panic about. But you also are in it. You're also in like this whole industry is so volatile that like if you are a person who's prone to anxiety, don't do it because it's so it's stressful. And literally the only reason that this whole show experience has not crippled me mentally is because I've been in therapy as long as I have.
Yeah.
Well, it's just especially for someone that like I say my emotions are muted, which is true. I have strong emotions of anger when we play basketball or something like that. Obviously, I get horny every now and then, whatever, and happiness at times. but
To normal people that are
for the two,
especially-
for the
That's
two,
the most-
for the
that's
two girls in here,
so
can we get a thumbs up or
horrifying.
down on if he needs therapy or not? I'll say 2 thumbs up.
they both gave
Quickly.
thumbs down.
Quickly,
Kelsey
thumbs
knows
up.
it. Rebecca's kind of a bystander, and she,
Yes.
Even she is like
immediately.
immediate.
I'm not denying.
I would say
no, you are.
I would say if you're
No.
just like a straight white man, you need to go to therapy.
Well, I
for
disagree.
us, I would say,
That's what I would
we're all
say.
Italian here. It's
That's
it's been a
worse.
big,
Go
it's
to
been a big
therapy.
stigma for Italian men to go to therapy.
Yeah.
What do you
Shout
mean
out to The
that's a
Sopranos.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a 20-year-old show
That's all right.
about sociopathic mobsters. Yeah, you totally relate to that.
That's definitely
it's in
what
our
your
blood.
life is like.
It's
Yeah,
in
for
our blood.
sure.
Oh yeah, it's in the blood.
sure.
Yeah, okay, dude. Yeah, you've never done a tough thing in
I'm
your
just
life.
saying, like we've been in the industry since. I mean, realistically, when we were kids, we did child acting.
Yeah.
So we were 13, 14.
You're not helping your case for the
Yeah,
therapy.
no, this is making it worse. This is making it
I'm
worse.
just trying to say. And then from probably 20 on, we were doing auditions, commercials again, and stand up. So it's like, as you said, if you haven't been in the industry for a long time,
Yeah.
and you get anxiety or any of that stuff, it cripples you. It
Yeah,
really
yeah,
does.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like you just kind of have to be like, you know what? We're just going to plow through it and do our thing. And that's
Yeah.
So instead of being crippled, I'll be numb to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah, but that's also not a good coping mechanism. There are other ways that you can process feelings that are not that. Because
In
then
order
when-
to process feelings, you have to have them.
You have to-
That's what we say.
Right.
Well, no, I will say because it also seems like a very common thing amongst like at least stand-up comics because for so long you're like eating shit.
Yeah.
And like it's like literally you're seeking just laughs. It's like you're
But
just
I
seeking
think
approval.
the funniest comics to me are ones that like have had a lot of like, life experience because that like what else are you gonna tell stories about really? But also like people who it's all like the dark comedy stuff. Like it's all that's like what's
That
funny.
compounds over 20 years of.
I will say, as comics, a lot of people, including ourselves at times, have use the stage as like their own form of therapy.
Yeah.
Like it's your own form of like expressing some part of your consciousness.
Sure.
Do we do it? Very, very rarely do we do it. It's mainly just nonsense.
But I
for
think
most people.
like I've said this to my dad before. Therapy is meant to just give you tools to make your life easier. That's literally all it is. Like they're not trying to convince you to like do anything or be anything. What's difficult in your life, let's find a better, healthier coping mechanism for you to do that so it's not difficult day to day.
Well,
Like for instance, in your situation, it's like how about let's figure out a way to process your feelings so you're not shoving them down all the time because that's not sustainable.
I process my feelings through motivational videos.
That's the worst thing you've ever
That's
said to
what I
me,
do.
and you've said terrible things.
Oh no,
You said terrible. You said
I
how
don't
many-
think you understand the
He's
psyche.
gone.
He's gone.
Sean can explain. Let's have Sean explain
As
this.
someone who shared
And-
a wall with him for most of my life,
I'm so sorry. I
in fact,
really
all
am.
of my life, except for when we were in a room together.
Yeah.
I would be getting ready to go to sleep, and I would just hear Alex on the back. I'm whatever.
Yeah.
Honestly, Alex on the backside, and it'd just be
Gary
he would.
D.
I swear to God, he would play Arnold Schwarzenegger, Six
I've
Rules of
heard
Life,
this. Yeah.
Rocky. I would hear that every night, and I'd
Yeah.
hear him saying it, and then in the mirror he would say it too. First rule is trust yourself.
Alex,
I gave you the whole
have you
speech,
seen
bro.
American Psycho?
Yes, he's
have.
Patrick Bateman.
Oh,
But I think it's a more positive. Patrick Bateman doesn't go. He doesn't give himself mantras in the.
You think it,
I have
but
some
everybody
bad
else
news
has,
for you.
has some concerns.
You want to know what your biggest red flag is?
No.
You're 30, balding, live with your brothers, you're a comic, you're failing.
No.
I was
Despite
bald.
all of that, your biggest red flag is that you have an American flag hanging in your room as decor.
I will
In
say,
fairness, it's our jerseys on the show as well.
I will say that
I know.
tapestry-
No.
That's the equivalent of a. You walk into a girl's room and she's got salt lamps and everything, and then
Not
she
true.
has the tapestry. I think it's the college
Not-
version of that.
Not the same.
You're 30.
I'm aware.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
I'm aware, but I also think
I don't
my
know if you've
roommates-
noticed, but you seem to deny every accusation or even just a simple note of, hey, maybe this could change. And you're like, but actually, no, guess
No,
what?
hold on.
Hold on. It's like a tapestry.
I will say for Alex,
I'm 30.
Alex-
Most people are married. I have a flag hanging up on my wall. It's the main piece of my room.
I will back Alex on this because there's been, for a while, he has said, I want to make my room as unstable as possible because I do not want women to stay over.
I really
want to go over to
think
their
if-
place.
If I came
This
to
is making
someone's-
everything worse.
This
They
is
look-
not helping. That's
they
not what
look
I said.
so
by the way.
disgusted
That's
over
not
that.
what I said. I swear to God, he said that.
If you
I
listen
said-
closely, you can hear the icking from behind us.
Yeah.
I swear he said
Oh
it.
my gosh.
I'm not surprised by any of that, to be honest.
I look at my room as temporary. I think that that's not where I plan to be.
Again, I need to tell you that these are like very psycho behaviors.
no,
that you
hold
have.
on.
Like that's weird.
I look at my room as this is a stepping stone to eventually, hey, one day I want to get into a bigger house or a really nice apartment.
Sure.
We have to build things before we get there.
You can
get
still
that.
make
That's how I
it
look
look nice.
Yes.
Well, okay, in
Or make
fairness,
it
as a
just
girl-
feel habitable, like just like a place that a person lives and not.
Hold on. Remember
not-
the first time you said when the first time you actually opened your curtains, like, oh yeah, a little sunshine's not bad, right?
Like I just need you to like you need to go to therapy or else you're going to jail. Like it's happening.
What
I feel
what
it.
should I replace? I don't know what to put. there.
Anything.
Literally anything. Literally anything.
Go to Marshall's. They got little
Yes.
live, laugh, love signs. You can
You're,
do that.
yes. You guys are Maxinistas.
Anything.
Figure it out.
Go on Craigslist. I at least made an effort to kind of
No, your
decorate my
room is
room.
lovely.
My room is lovely. Thank
It
you.
is lovely.
Well, Mitchell,
Literally
it
anything
took
else.
months, but he did put it together. It
Yeah.
took you like months.
Yeah, but I was.
Mitchell had a friend design his room. I want to go ahead and say
Yes,
that.
I seeked
So?
out the help of somebody
You
else
have
because my-
Alex.
So?
He did not pay. You have
So?
friends.
No, but
have
she was
friends
wasn't
that'll
she
help
like
you.
in training or something?
Yes, she was training to go to
Right
design
here,
school.
Kelsey, would you help Alex decorate his room? There you
Yes,
go.
she said yes.
Look at that.
Let's okay.
Look at how much he hates it. Look at how much he hates it.
Change can be good.
Alex is gonna go to therapy like that girl doesn't know what she's talking about.
Okay,
She
here,
doesn't know
no,
anything."
legitimately. You got the three of you. I saw like a clip actually on my way here that you guys were talking to somebody about having sisters.
Yes.
And you're like, girls who have, or guys who have sisters are so, yes, because women do the heavy lifting for literally every single man, and you admitted it. And I was like, that's wild.
Oh no, I said that
that's wild.
They help with
You becoming a person, just being an
I
normal
agree. It helps you
person.
talk
the
understand women.
human element, of course.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
they make you far more well-rounded, and we always say that because we grew up.
But isn't it crazy that like you think that to be a well-rounded person, it's better to have sisters because the women around you will help you be more well-rounded?
balanced.
I don't know if you watched the full clip.
No. As opposed to women who have to figure out how to be well-rounded on our own.
No, the emotional end of being it.
Yes,
Like,
exactly. Why are we doing the heavy lifting of your emotional well-roundedness?
We always.
Why don't you just go to therapy
a different
and pay a
environment.
Well, I
professional
think,
and do it?
environment.
emotionally women do the heavy lifting, and then physically, I think guys do the actual heavy lifting.
You're using a literal.
I just think it's two different. I think it's two separate things.
How often
balance each other out.
am I picking up a heavy thing and putting it down?
That's what I'm
Versus
saying.
how often do you have to use your emotions? You specifically, never.
Yeah,
Astro's shit
Never.
is pretty heavy. Here's what I will say. I always.
Is that why you shoved his face into it? Okay.
Here's what I will say. Because we grew up with all brothers, we know we missed out on that
100%.
balance
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I agree.
So
I'm
we've
not
had
denying
to.
that.
Yeah.
We've had to get it from either friends that were girls or like
Yeah.
girlfriends
Totally.
that.
But don't you think that's weird though?
It's the only thing we've
That
ever
that's how
known.
you
It's
find
not.
the balance.
It's not a.
It's
well,
a. It's a.
how-
na-
I'm saying
it's a
I'm
nature.
trying to get the Virzi Triplets to have a critical thought. Do you think that that's weird?
Have you
Oh,
seen us on
I
anything?
think we missed out on things. for
Yes.
sure. I don't. It's definitely not normal, but that's also nature versus nurture. Like our environment did not offer sympathy and list. Like it's just it is what it was.
Except for
Do you
mama.
know what would fix and resolve that actually?
No, I understand that. I think therapy would help.
Psychologytoday.com.
Is that that's another ad?
No free plugs.
No, it's
think
where you can like find a therapist through Psychology Today.
You know what would help if we push Floor's Lava to #1 on Netflix, you guys. We have to knock off Stranger
Tank the
Things.
show. Tank the show.
Okay, well, here's what I will say. I will say we have taken a lot of it from
is it
external
at?
sources, whether it's friends, women,
Yeah.
people that have been in our life. Mom, kind of, not so much.
Right.
But yes, it's just
I think there's a portion of like the human experience where like you know what's funny? I think like it's weird. I think Macaulay Culkin said this once. He was like, me as a person am like comprised of little bits of every person I've ever met, like that sort of a thing.
I agree.
And I get that, and I totally agree. But it's also important that like if you have things that you want to work on, you don't rely on the people around you to do that for you.
as
Go to therapy.
yes. Okay. Since we are children, pretty much.
Yes.
What tips would you give to guys that are having like a failure to launch?
Go to
What-
therapy. I'm
Okay,
not
like
kidding.
give me a top 3.
Go to
That is not-
therapy, go to therapy, and go to therapy.
Okay, but outside
Stop
of
relying on the people around you. Stop relying on the people around
can-
you
I'm
and
down.
do the work.
So can I
Figure it out.
Can we do a mock therapy session?
No.
Go to therapy. Take down the American flag in
Yes,
your room.
take down the fucking
get-
American
and
flag
get
in your
some
room.
real
And get real decorations. Get a framed picture of an American flag. That's infinitely better. Still not great, but it's better.
Never thought about it.
There you
That's
go.
not a bad. That's not a bad.
Do
Put
not-
a fucking
help
frame
him.
on it.
Yeah, I'll get a frame.
Don't help him. Don't help him. Don't help. You emotional. You do enough support for these brothers.
That's true.
Do not help them.
Kelsey's an angel.
You've done enough. You've
Kelsey
done
also
enough.
is a sweetheart and threw us a surprise birthday party.
Oh my
which
God.
was very, very touching
So
and sweet.
cute. So sweet.
Oh, well, one of the
Yes.
things I was going to say. Enough about us. We know we have our own issues. You said you have a lot of women that reach out to you.
Yes.
What are some of the top problems or concerns that women have in your field?
A lot of it is, I would say like 90% of the DMs that I get are some variation of am I normal for X, Y, and Z, and the answer is almost always yes. Okay. So like that's been a big one, and I'm very happy to like be someone who can
For what?
affirm people. Things like
fetishes and kinks and shit.
sometimes, but not really. Like I don't specialize in kink, so I don't think people come to me for that. Like there are other coaches who do specialize in kink, and I don't have that type of training. But it's a lot of like there have been a lot of people who reach out to me who are postpartum and like don't have their sex drive back, and they want to figure out how to do that. There's been people who reach out to me about like the color or shape or size of their vulva, their vagina, that kind of a thing, and they're always normal, and they just think that they're not, because if you were to like rely solely on porn for your sex education, which most people do in this country. No, but most people do in this country because we don't have comprehensive sex education here, and there's many states in the U.S. that don't require anything beyond abstinence training, which is proven to fail. So
For those of them that don't know, what's a vulva?
It's the exterior. It actually but literally, like this is actually a thing because girls call their whole genital area the vagina. The vagina is only the internal part. The vulva is the external part.
That's what I always have said.
I've heard something about a clitoris. I don't know where.
Oh, okay. We need to actually talk about the clitoris because not for Mitchell.
I was gonna say like.
Not for Mitchell.
You could see the veins in his head. Oh my god.
No. Because
I'm 30 and I'm still going on the scavenger hunt for it.
Good luck. But because there's something called like homogeneous body parts, which means that when you're a fetus, it's the same body part until your genetics start to like split you into like whatever your sex will be later in life. And so the clitoris is what the penis is. Yeah. And so the clitoris has 8,000 nerve endings in it.
So you're telling me I've been licking a penis this whole time?
That's right, you big homo. That's right.
That's
why you don't go down on
Isn't that
women.
a fun fact?
No, you don't. I have no problem doing it. I love it.
Oh yeah, we have talked about it. Sean
doesn't like to.
No, I do. I just if it's not necessary.
We have a testimonial. We have a testimonial in the room.
Sweetie, I'm so sorry. That's crazy.
No, I've.
That's a crazy thing to say. If it's not necessary,
well,
yeah.
Usually I don't.
Jail.
Usually I don't need to.
Right
usually
to jail.
That's what I'm saying.
I can do other things to make it happen.
I'm like a dog with peanut butter down there. Once you just get.
This has been great, guys.
Sean can only go down on a lady if there's a bag of Ritz Bits down there. He likes Ritz Bits a lot. Pretzel M&Ms.
Please.
What'd you say?
She's
Only go down if they salute the
you have to
flag.
do the Pledge of Allegiance before
she said,
you.
I can only go down if they salute the flag in my room. That's hilarious. No, Sean's the one that doesn't.
That's funny.
It's not. Sean doesn't want to get cooties, is what he said.
Do you want to actually know that there's like a proven way to go down on girls that is more efficient?
Oh,
effective?
yes.
It's called the Kivin method. Oh, yeah. And so you, if this is if this is the vulva, you have to do it from its side and lick up and down.
The vulva's gonna have cameras?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's how we all review each other.
So you're saying
I haven't gone perpendicular yet.
Yeah, no, literally like turn it on its side and then lick up and down, and there's studies to show that that's
I'm kissing.
Like you're
like you're turning it sideways.
Oh yes, yeah,
So
yeah.
it'd be like that.
Yes, and licking up and down. Up like a paintbrush.
Have you ever seen Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
That's how I do it.
That, sure.
My first time I gave it a raspberry. Is that okay?
That's so horrible.
You know what? No, for those of you guys, what was that method called?
The Kivin method.
The Kivin method. Well, if you want to know the Alex method,
I don't.
You just use a lot of teeth.
Know it.
That's my success. Keys to.
Do you know that's again very American Psycho of you.
Little nibbles like horses.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel.
Do you know horses have that extra their big lip that?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people have just unsubscribed to our entire page because of Alex.
This is gonna have to be edited so much.
Not. Well, no, I will say. So you talked earlier about the gap in like a lot of sex education. What do you think is like the remedy to that?
Sex education. And also, okay, so here the thing is,
like how
we're supposed to be the United States is supposed to have like a separation of church and state, and that's just like literally not true. And part of that is rolled into the way that we teach sex education because we don't. And so there is a correlation between the states that are like, especially like the Bible Belt, states that are heavily religious, heavily Republican, don't include sex education as a priority, and those are also the states that have the highest rate of teen pregnancy.
Out of curiosity, if you were lesson planning, what's lesson number one we're teaching? You said
if you're doing like a high school or even like later in middle school curriculum,
they don't know anything about
a 101 class. But yeah, I do think
Ruth
some
from
sort of,
I think like
Ozarks. I don't know shit about fuck, Marty.
So obviously you have to hit the STI training, so how to prevent them, but what each one of them is and how you how you go through like the testing for that, how often you should get tested, and like what types of STIs require what type of treatment, because I think people get like very scared about them, and like sometimes you should be, and other times it's like you're gonna take an antibiotic and you'll be fine. But also this is all very preventable.
99% of them.
Yeah, like they're so preventable, and it's also like I remember once I had my health class was like fine. It wasn't great. But one of the things that I remember the most from it was my teacher said, we were talking about using condoms. And he was like, no one's going anywhere. If you're naked, like no one is going anywhere. So if there's a condom in the room, just fucking put it on. Like you've gotten to that point. It's so, I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
He says like, at that point, no one's going anywhere. So it takes 3 seconds, just do it.
Yeah.
Just
you always want a guy to put the condom on. You don't want to have the girl put the condom on. It's not fun.
And also, girls don't have enough, I don't think, experience in doing it. And if you rip it or tear it or there's a hole or whatever, like just let the guy do it.
I've used it a million times, and I still like always have to look in and out. And I'm like, which side's got the little bulbous tip? Which
little condom dance you do? It's like, which way does it go?
Yeah.
Open condom style. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hey,
Dylan is behind the screen. He's taking a nap.
Just sharpied.
That's a great jam.
But here's what I will say: for us,
Yeah.
and you're not having sex. What's the problem, huh?
I'm 30.
What I will say is, I don't know if we all had the same sex health teacher, but for mine. The guy, Mr. Snyder was his name. It's a guy you don't want to learn anything about sex from. It's a dude that was there for too long, and I'm like, it was very just like here, there, you're done.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay,
that's
what else?
a lot of it is like. So it's like the STI training. It's how to prevent pregnancy. And it's also like there's a really amazing educator on Instagram, and I think her Instagram is Sex Ed Files, and she has these little note cards of she teaches at schools, and she collects all these note cards of questions and she answers them on Instagram. And like the questions that she's getting are so important, and they'll never talk about it in schools. Like somebody asked her like what the abortion pill was and how it works. Like that's important. Like whatever side of the fence that you're on, you're gonna make a decision and not know what it is. Like you should at least know.
Well, I think now there's so many more avenues because again, the stuff if you're gonna like, I feel like the problem with it initially is they try to baby the situation where it's like, hey, if we're gonna trust you with sex,
yes,
you need to be real about it. Where it's like, hey, you can get pregnant, you can get these things. Yeah. But now at least there's so many different avenues where like, if you have a question on anything, you can Google it, and there's so many different ways and so many different people that have ways to put it out that I do think there is so many at least opportunities to be like, hey, I don't know this question. At least I can Google it.
Yeah, the only thing that's concerning though is there's a lot of places that fund like studies that are doing it with intentions of creating misinformation. So there's a lot of like
bias.
There's a lot of like what are they called? Like people who are like for the families, and they're doing all of these studies that
they have an agenda.
Yeah, they have an agenda. So they're like creating these studies that are not really accurate, and they're skewing all of the results and whatever that will say like having casual sex affects your psyche in a negative way, which is not necessarily true.
I agree with that.
We got it, Alex. You fucked. We got it.
Well, I think I also think that I do think some of it is like they want people to have sex later on.
But people are not. It's not going to happen.
As soon as you hit puberty, that's like something you need to know. Because like guys are getting random boners from elementary school on, and it's like, yo, you can potentially knock somebody up and change it up. Some girls hit puberty at like fucking
young.
10,
10.
exactly.
Yeah. There are girls who get their period literally at 10. So
when
Jesus Christ.
kidding.
But yeah, and we're also in a different world now where like there are kids who are coming out as being trans and like don't fully know what that means. There are adults who are having children who are having these experiences, whether they're coming out as like non-binary or trans or whatever like variety of the spectrum that you are, and like those parents don't even know because they were also not trained. So like just having a place where that education can be given, because it's part of the human experience, whether you agree with it or not, it's better to know, and it's better to know from a place that like is going to give you evidence-backed, researched, actual, real information, not bogged down with people's biases, not bogged down with politics or religion. It's the human experience, the same way that going to the doctor is. Like, this is important. You know?
Yeah.
Well, again, at the very worst, I think that there's platforms now that, and the internet is obviously a miracle that, hey, you can have, there's so much resources, personalities, people that you can look to and get advice from.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't like their advice, okay, you can move and find different personalities or different experiences of more of what you're going through,
What
it is.
What I was gonna say is you kind of mentioned the STIs and all that and the testing and everything. Like right when I got out of college, I had a scare. It was actually I had a UTI, but I was like freaking out because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I called him like, hey, what's the deal? Like, I want to get tested. Like, what's the deal? And he's like, listen, man, you can get a chlamydia test, and what they have to do is they shove a Q-tip, a metal rod, they shove it all the way up your urethra. And I got to tell you, I was a high-level Olympic caliber skier my entire life, broke every vertebrae in my back. Nothing was more painful than that. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'll live with it.
But we do. we could do pee tests. So I'm surprised that they don't do pee tests.
So they did a blood.
That was 10 years
but they
ago.
ended up doing a blood. They're like, or you could do a blood test. I'm like, I'm going to do the blood test.
Yeah, do the fucking blood test.
You wanted to scare you.
But
that's
always what it is. They always go with the scare first. And like that even fucks me.
Well, that's probably a good thing to even know that like you can ask if there are other ways.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, that's step one. I feel like at least for like the schools, like a lot of the ways they like train for adult things, I feel like a lot of them are like do the counter opposite. For example, when we would ever have like those assemblies you used to have to go to where it's like, oh hey kids, we're 40-year-old hip hop dancers. We're gonna tell you don't do drugs, just give hugs, like whatever dumb shit like that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like us.
Us in 10 years.
But I'm like that. You ever seen the floor's lava?
It is fire like chlamydia.
But I feel like as soon as you hear that, that makes me want to be like, well, if they're saying don't do drugs, I immediately want to do the opposite and go try some drugs. Like,
yeah.
I feel like, if you're getting sex education from somebody that like, you're like, what is it? Like, you don't trust the method of it is not accurate. And the way you implement whoever implements it, they need a different approach. Yes.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well, but that's why I'm excited for like the amount of people who are now becoming sex educators and doing this because it's important that they're like young and know what's going on, especially because sexuality's changed so much. It hasn't really, but things are changing publicly. So now things are so different and everyone is so much more open and you can find porn literally anywhere. Like there's so much
in your DMs.
I think it's
exactly.
I do think the young thing's important because like no one's ever had a young sex ed teacher.
Never.
Like even with us, I remember Mr. Snyder, very nice guy.
You were saying yours. Mine was worse.
Who was yours?
Mr. McGrath.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all of the, and again, I'm sure it's very common for everybody else.
Yeah.
The sex educators were either probably 60-plus-year-old men or women teaching. It's like, listen, Granny, Betty White, I don't want to learn sex ed. I would actually learn sex ed from Betty White, but the rest of those, it's like, I don't want to learn it from that. But
sorry,
just,
I know it's backtracking a little bit, but you mentioned that a lot of women have insecurities with their vulva and their DM.
Yeah.
Who do you think is more insecure? Women with... For lack of a better word, who do you think is more insecure? Women about their vaginas or men about their dicks?
About their like dick size. I do get a lot of questions about that, about if size matters. No, it doesn't.
Clearly.
What if it's a micro?
There are other things that you can do. I mean,
agree.
micro that's a real thing. I mean, people do have micro.
He's talking from experience.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, then it's also like there's something you can't help that.
Yeah, you can't help it. You just like figure out a way to do something else.
Yeah. What could somebody do with that insecurity? Like, what could they do? Like, you were obviously speaking from the.
So if size doesn't matter, then why do girls give me shit about being 5'5"?
Well, because it's your personality, babe.
The height is a scapegoat for you.
Yes, exactly. I mean, so if you're insecure about your penis size, you can. I mean,
I'm not.
All orgasms are actually still clitoral orgasms, which is kind of cool. So,
Mine are anal.
with a little bubble butt like that.
Yeah, I got
with a sweet hiney like the one you have.
Oh,
I believe it.
Dumpy gang over here, hardcore. Let's go. It's Sean really
is
also slanted to one side over here. It's different types of dumpy. You know. What about someone that's insecure with their vulva?
Well,
The lady region.
So when I worked with the sex coach that I was working for a while, we always used to say that you should like look at it. Just look at it because there's a lot of cool things about vulvas. Vulvas are cool. And so so do you know that
new merch idea?
Yeah. Right. Do you know that the color of them changes as a woman gets aroused?
Yes.
Isn't that cool? So like because there's so much blood flow to the area, the color changes and it'll start getting like darker and like purplier, and it's like it's really pretty. Like
an octopus.
No, Mitchell, you sick.
They change colors. My penis also penises change colors as well.
Okay, it's all the blood flow.
Yeah.
And also, you know what's cool about this is like not really related to like loving your vulva necessarily, but because there's so much blood flow in the vulva, the reason is partially so that you're cushioning yourself from like the impact of having sex. Yeah.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting? But I think the biggest thing is
it's
to
like if you
look
flex,
at it.
pretty much, right?
What?
Would it be like if you were like flex?
When you get a pump from lifting.
Like, you know how like if you flex your muscles, it's like hard.
No, it's like how your penis gets hard because there's blood in it. It's that. It's exactly that.
Okay.
So
more support. Got it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I think if you feel insecure about what your genitals look like, especially for vulvas, there's something called the Vulva Gallery, and it's on Instagram, and it's drawn. It's like illustrations of vulvas in all different colors and shapes and sizes, and it's important because like women are so insecure about it because the view of that you get in porn, women get like labiaplasties to make their labia smaller.
They have a gallery of vulvas.
It's illustration, yeah.
It's like in Superbad when the guy draws a bunch of penises. It's like the vulva.
Yes.
But they're realistic. I've actually seen it. I've actually seen
have?
it. Yeah.
Wait, did you
It's
watch
at
Sex
Arby's,
Education?
the menu.
Give me something. I need to throw at his head. What will concuss him? My phone? Okay.
I think we've established which
Sean was pointing at me like I was going to say that. I went for a better joke.
we've established which side of the table is less likable.
I know. That's why I dated you.
Yes.
You were objectively the best triplet.
That is universally agreed upon, by the way,
know.
by I think every woman
Yes.
that we've met.
Yeah.
Is Mitchell the consensus? That's yes. I was going to ask you something.
That's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone has
The Vulva Gallery, yeah.
they like
Is it their
charcoal
drawings or is it like at a museum?
No, it's their drawings, and they have like a coffee table book too. It's like beautiful. It's like a pink coffee table book. I need to get it.
I've actually looked at it. It's pretty cool.
It's cool, like, and it's important because we have so much shame surrounding it, and it's similar for men too. But yeah.
I think the nice thing is it is becoming like more, for lack of a better term, accepted.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's more exposure, more understanding of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that social media has helped or hurt sex education or relationship building?
I think it's helped.
Okay.
You're getting a
5 minutes.
I think it's helped because we now we have access to educators and people who are willing to spread positive information, and there's going to be just as many like voices that are going to be speaking negatively. But I think the way, especially when it comes to like accepting your body and the way that it looks and how it is in like the sexual environment, porn really doesn't help. But
not at all.
Yeah, but social media does help, I think.
Yeah, I will say on TikTok every now and then a couple of videos pop up in my feed about like it's either sex education or something. But probably because I follow you.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things that at least growing up that like even now I still like a lot of guys are unaware of certain like I didn't know how birth control worked.
Yeah.
Like. And still probably couldn't explain it very well.
Right.
Like if you had to give grade out of 100, I could maybe give you like a 60%.
Most people it would be less than that.
Yeah, no, it's but that's just like, oh, you think that's like a very important thing to know because it's like, that's the difference between having a baby and not having a baby.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, it really like a lot of people don't understand. It really affects a girl's hormones. Like
there are a lot of people who are very heavily affected by hormonal birth control methods, but there's also non-hormonal birth control methods too.
Like an IUD.
Yeah, they're copper IUDs, and copper IUDs have no hormones in them. But there are other IUDs that have hormones in them that like slow releases them.
They're like an electric fence in the vagina.
Literally, yes, they are. Like it's kind of
Looks like
it's not
wrong.
Like
a praying mantis kind of standing thing. And
some have said that Alex talking is a form of birth control.
I would say so.
It's a contraceptive.
I think it's an aphrodisiac usually.
No.
Every girl in here just sighed like
big sigh. Big sigh from this side of the room.
I think there's some bias in two of the girls, I will say, but you know.
I have a couple questions from our Instagram peeps.
Sure.
Yeah, let's close it out. We'll close it out with a couple questions and then plug everything, and we're bouncing. You got a flight to catch.
Yes, thank you for joining us on the last part.
New York.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people asked like
Circle questions.
circle questions mainly about like Brew was the main one. If you had any relationship or any spark afterwards.
I'll gladly clear up the Brew thing.
Yes.
Because like that's like one of the questions I get all the time, and it's so ridiculous. So Brew and I on the show, they really made it look like we were a lot flirtier than we really were. I will say that. But also, like the second that Brew and I actually took our flight from LA or from the UK where we filmed back to LA together too. And it was like always platonic and always friendly. And actually on the flight, and I told Anna this, his girlfriend, I told Anna this weekend, that he was like subtly talking about her the whole time. So like he was talking about how he didn't like dating in LA, but the people that he liked the most were people that were like from his area, and like Anna is also from Michigan, where Brew is from. So he was like, him and Anna were already talking, and he was like already set on her, but they weren't officially dating yet.
Yeah.
And I knew that, like the second that we like had the chance to talk outside of the show. So nothing ever happened. We've always been friends. And I saw him a bunch this weekend, and Anna, and they're both lovely.
Yeah, I did too. Brew was very nice.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't get to
they're
talk
so
to Anna,
sweet.
but very sweet people.
And
Love
for those
them.
of you that don't know, they edit a lot of things on TV and manipulate it to make it look a certain narrative.
Isn't that something?
Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed?
Someone also asked about who your favorite from the circle was. I don't know if you want to go on mic with that. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Favorite of my season, I'm going to
It
guess.
just says from the circle, so it could be any season. We'll
You
go
can
with that.
cop out and do the other seasons that weren't yours, so you don't have to.
My favorite changes all the time because, especially from other seasons, because we've like spent so much time with everyone. I will say that like Joey Sasso is like one of the best humans on this planet. Like he is one of the nicest, most like level-headed, grounded people I've ever met. Like he would check in on me constantly. Like he's just a good, like the best, like warmest big brother energy. I love him.
Two more real
nice
quick
guy.
ones.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't say this guy's name. Hafiz.
My favorites, by the way, are Shuby and Chris Sapphire.
Oh
Shout
my
out to them,
God.
by the
They also said the same thing about Joey,
Hysterical.
though.
Yeah,
they said the same thing
he's great.
Who is your favorite actor and favorite actress in Hollywood?
My favorite, I don't know. I have a really big crush on Kristen Stewart. That woman does things
Kristen
to me.
Stewart.
Kristen Stewart
I wouldn't
does
guess
things
that.
to me.
I was gonna guess like Sydney Sweeney kind of.
Oh, I love Sydney Sweeney too.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves her.
I don't know that I have a favorite actor. I think like what?
I was gonna say I know if you had to pick a favorite, like anybody in entertainment, Mike
Yeah.
Flanagan, who's coming out with something new, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't
Something
see
new,
that
yeah.
yet. I do like Mike Flanagan. He's a horror movie producer,
Yes.
and I love everything that he
Created
does.
the
I would
Haunting of
be-
Hill House.
I would be like he.
Sure, Dylan
I would
knows
be
that.
so heartbroken. I would be so heartbroken if anything came out about Mike Flanagan. That would destroy me, I think.
Also, last real question, which I think you've linked it before on your thing, but Tiara
Tara?
said no, it's Tiara. I think.
Oh.
I don't know. Tiara or Tiara said, where can we get a vulva pillow?
Oh, okay. So you can get a vulva pillow. Her name is Laura Doe, and I've linked her a bunch of times. They are expensive though, because they're teaching tools and they're anatomically correct. So like the whole inside of the cushions, like you can feel like the clitoral stem and like the vestibular bulbs and that kind of stuff.
What's it running? What kind of what? How much?
$200.
$200.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very intricate.
She hand makes them in Australia.
What's a vestibular
Crikey.
bulb?
The vestibular bulbs is the homogeneous part of like the testicles, but they sit behind the behind the vulvas on either side, and
tell me
they
that-
fill with blood.
There's balls hidden in there.
You are an 8th grader at best.
I am.
Well, if anybody ever wanted the Floors Lava Triplets to give some sex education help,
Yeah.
the Sex Education Floors Lava Triplets crossover, well, you're in luck. But Alyssa, thank you so much for coming out.
Obviously,
Anytime.
plug. People know where to find you.
It'll
but
be in the
plug it.
description.
Yeah.
Well, no,
yeah.
just plug her Instagram and
I'm
whatever else.
Alyssa Ljub, and it's Alyssa ALYSSA LJUB on Instagram and TikTok. I have a YouTube channel too that's linked.
Yes. Posting vids.
Yeah, and I'm always asking for people to give me ideas of what kind of content you want to see. So.
Also, we have a video on our page, which is when we did our road trip.
Oh
So if you
yeah! Oh,
that
you
was
have to watch
before-
the road trip vlog. That was
That
really
was
fun.
before all this stuff came out
Yeah.
about the circle. So there's hints in there about it where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we just got a really big call. And it's like,
Yeah.
we both knew.
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's cool seeing now how it's happened. And
Yeah.
we're just very happy for you.
Thank you.
Very happy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. I really couldn't have done all this stuff without you guys being my friends, really.
Stop it.
You guys are such assholes, but you're
Lovable
no, but you guys
assholes.
are wonderful, and I appreciate all of your friendship.
Oh.
Well, we appreciate yours, Alyssa. Thank you for coming on. We really
Have a safe
appreciate
flight.
it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Check out the merch. We got some merch dropping tomorrow or today,
Ooh,
depending
get
on what it
the
is.
I Was Sad sweatshirt. That's
Yes,
my
that is
favorite
a
I would
favorite.
say sweatshirt is pretty sick. We'll have
Yeah.
to send you one.
Yes. Please do.
Obviously, subscribe to YouTube. New season Floor is Lava 2 coming out. It's out. Check it out. We're episode 1 of Return of the Virzi Triplets.
named
Alyssa's
after us.
on the circle. Season 4. Check her out on that. Thank you guys so much for listening. Later.